Okay, what a game we've witnessed. Has to be the most exciting game of the Asia Cup so far. Pity it came in an encounter which was inconsequential because Sri Lanka were out, India through to the final. It's a game that went into the super over because scores were tied and India eventually coming through in the super over versus Sri Lanka. What a knock there by Pathum Nissanka, getting 100, the first 100 of this tournament. But the Indian team as well, an all-round performance. Abhishek, once again, the man of the moment. To talk to us about that game, but more importantly, looking ahead to that final. The Sri Lanka game is behind us. Looking ahead to that final is a cricket legend and our analyst here on Sports Today, Sunil Gavaskar, joins us. Sunny bhai, close encounter. India eventually just about scraping through, but would you say it's a good workout for the Indian team ahead of the all-important final?
It is. But it is a good wake-up call in the sense that they were stretched right down to the wire, which is what you need on the eve of the big day, the big final. So yes, I think it was good wake-up call. And to have woken up with that and to emerge victorious actually tells you how strong this Indian team is and what good temperament that they have.
Now, one way, Sunny bhai, of looking at it, this particular match positively is that, law of averages. Many believe that the law of averages sometime or the other catches up with you. India were so far ahead of everyone else in this tournament. So you'd say that one bad day had to come someday. So maybe this is that one bad day and you rather have it here in this encounter, which was inconsequential, rather than have it in the all-important final?
Yes, I think a tough day having come before the final is a good thing, but it wasn't a bad day. It was a tough day, very tough day, a hard day at the office. But they came through it by keeping their temperament in the last few overs when they were defending the total. The last over could have been a little bit better if Harshit had bowled more slower deliveries rather than the pacey deliveries. But that said, apart from that, I think the way they came back, despite the battering that Kusal Perera and Nissanka gave them, just speaks volumes of this team's temperament.
Now, Saibhai, talking about India versus Pakistan, before we get into the on-field matchups, there has been a lot of controversies. Just very recently, we know that ICC could be imposing some sort of fines for both India as well as Pakistan players, and that hearing and appeals are still ongoing. But my point is, and especially from India's point of view, they of course start as the favourites. But can these controversies distract the Indian team in that final? Is that a worry?
Maybe if there is a controversy about a certain player, maybe it might distract him a little bit. But once you step onto the field, you forget everything. That is what good teams and good players do. And so I don't really see too much of a problem with that. What also happens is that the others in the team will form a protective circle around the person who could be in a bit of hot water. And so I don't see too much of an issue with that. Once you step onto the field, everything is forgotten. You just focus on the bat and the ball.
Right, just continuing about that build-up to this game, it's always spicy, India versus Pakistan encounters, and I'm sure this one too is going to be like that, especially with all that has happened in the two games that have been played so far. My direct question to you is, come Sunday, are you expecting fireworks once again?
Well, every India-Pakistan game, whether it's a final or it's a first round, there will always be a little bit of a skirmish, if I might use that word, a little bit of fireworks. That is to be expected because both teams play very hard. Both teams do not give each other even a millimeter. So clearly I think when two teams are going hard at each other, there is bound to be some sparks, there's bound to be some fireworks. Hopefully it doesn't turn into anything ugly.
Saibhai, from Pakistan's point of view, I've seen a lot of commentators from across the border looking at this encounter and invoking that 2017 Champions Trophy. You were there at that tournament, I was there at that tournament. India once again went into the final as favourite. They'd beaten Pakistan in the group stages as well. But on that day, there was an upset and Pakistan really turned it around. What do you think are the chances of a repeat of that 2017 happening here?
Well, in a T20 game, anything can happen. But this is one way of a team which has been hammered is the only word, twice looking to lift its confidence. And their supporters looking to lift the confidence and the morale of their team. So that is what this is. Don't forget that what happened in 2017 was a 50 overs game. This is a 20 overs game.
Now, Saiba, Indian team of course has been in outstanding form, and when it comes to their batting, it's been that man Abhishek Sharma. I think 7 consecutive scores of 30 plus, which is a record tied alongside Rohit Sharma. But the worrying part from there is the other side of that story is what happens the day Abhishek Sharma does not fire at the start. Should the Indian fan be worried?
There are others. There's Surya Kumar Yadav, who's due a lot of runs. There's Tilak Verma, there's Sanju Samson, there's Hardik Pandya. You name it. And there's Shubman Gill. Shubman Gill has batted well, but hasn't really got the big runs that we've come to see from his bat in the recent times. So there's plenty of batting to come. So I wouldn't be overly worried. Also, I think Abhishek Sharma is not going to let it go easy. He's been in good form, 3 half centuries. He knows that he could have got maybe 2 centuries over there. One was an unfortunate run out, of course. He could have got 2 centuries. So he won't give up either. He would want to get another half century, maybe even a 3-figure innings.
You're right, as you mentioned that, if it's not Abhishek, there's so many other batters who can step up. One of the batters that you mentioned is Surya Kumar Yadav. But overall, he did have one good inning in this tournament, but since then it's been a bit of a dry run for him. How do you look at his form? Anything that he can work on? What should he be doing ahead of that big final? Because he is a very crucial cog in India's wheel.
No, not really. He's a class player. We all know that. All I would say is that he should give himself maybe 3 or 4 deliveries out in the middle to get a sense of what's happening. Is there any pace, bounce? Is there any turn? Because watching it from the dugout and then going onto the field sometimes can be 2 different things. If the batter's ahead of you batting so well, you tend to think there's nothing in the pitch. But it's better that you go there and get yourself those 2 or 3 deliveries to see, and then play your natural game.
And the other worry, Sai bhai, we've spoken about for now 2 matches in a row about India's catching, but I'm going to extend it. What we saw versus Sri Lanka, the ground fielding as well, that's also something that India would have to work on. You can't afford any slip-ups in the final.
Yes, it is. That's the worrying thing. The catching and the ground fielding against Sri Lanka was disappointing. It could have been even better. If it had been better, then India would have won the match. It wouldn't have gone to the super over. So that's the one area that India cannot afford to be loose on Sunday.
And finally, Sunil bhai, before we let you go, other than that fielding, anything else you think India needs to guard against Pakistan on that big day, a day before the game? If you had to, give some sort of an advice, what is it that India should guard against?
I think the last 3 overs that they bowl, whether they are fielding first or they're fielding second, it's the last 3 overs that can turn the match around for India. They have to get that right.
Okay, Sunil, thank you. On that note, I'm afraid that's all the time that we have with Mr. Gavaskar here on Sports Today. But a reminder, we'll have all the build-up stories building up to that big final between India, Pakistan. 3rd time that they'll be facing each other in this tournament. For all the latest updates, all you need to do is subscribe to Sports Today. Give us a like on this video. For the moment, good night. Bye-bye from Nikhilnaz here in Dubai.